Okay, today we're going to finish up our lesson that we weren't able to finish in class, and you're finding this on the back of the Introduction to Integers. This is on the back side, so it would be on page 6 at the very bottom. It's what we didn't finish up our last in-school day. The absolute value is the distance from 0. So we're going to write distance right here. It's how far the number is away from 0. And distance is always expressed as a positive value. We wouldn't say we measure something in -5 feet. We wouldn't say a height in a negative number, so we always want to use that as a positive. So absolute value is represented with these 2 vertical bars. And when we see the vertical bars, we immediately read absolute value. And then we say whatever's inside the bars. So a number or expression is placed inside these bars. So you can see here's a number, number. This is an expression. An expression is numbers and operations, but no equal sign. It does not matter which direction, negative or positive, the number inside the bar is, or are. The absolute value, which is the distance, is always a positive number. So I'm going to highlight that. It's always a positive number. So if we look at our first example, it says the absolute value of 9. So right here we're looking at this, the absolute value of 9. So we're going to state that as just 9. It is 9 units away from 0. We don't care which way it goes. The next number, the absolute value of -14, well, once again, that is just 14 units or moves away from 0. Again, order doesn't matter. The absolute value of 0, well, it doesn't move off 0, so it's just 0. The absolute value, the distance -7 is away from 0, would be 7 units or 7 moves. And then our last one, because there's 2 numbers, this is an expression, we have to find the answer to 12 plus 3, which would be 15. And then those bars are still here. So this is really the absolute value of 15, which would equal 15. So now we're going to talk about the difference between an opposite and absolute value. So when we look at the opposite, say we were given -3. Well, opposite means exactly what the word says. It's on the other side of 0. So if we're given -3, then I need a +3 to make an opposite. If I were given the absolute value of -3, then the value of that equals 3. You're going to notice the opposite. I'm not saying they're equal. I'm showing the opposite thing. However, when I work with absolute value, I have to find the ultimate value or the end value, which is 3 units away from 0. Our next example, if we were given +8, well, the opposite of +8 would be -8. And this arrow doesn't mean anything as far as direction. It's just saying the opposite. So I'm going to write they would be opposites. But if I were given the absolute value of 8, well, that's 8 units away from 0. So this would be 8. So you can see the absolute value is always positive, but opposites can be positive or negative depending what you're given. So say they gave us the number, let's try a fraction. What if they told us, and this is not an integer, 1/2 is not an integer, it's a rational number. Well, the opposite of 1/2 would have to be -1/2. So the signs change with opposites. So I want to write different signs. But with absolute value, if I were given the absolute value of 1/2, well, that's just 1/2 unit away from 0. So these are always positive answers. And they're equal to what's inside the bars. Even though it doesn't look like they're equal, it is a positive value. So I have to do something when I see these bars. I have to release the bars by answering what the value is. Hope this was helpful, and I'll see you for our next lesson.